In this video, I'm going to teach you guys 5 of the main twists you need for you to grow from a hobbyist to a pro in no time. Okay, so sorry, before we start twisting, this is actually part 2 of the beginner series. So if you have not seen part 1, feel free to go down. Links are down below. Feel free to take a look at them. In a nutshell, I basically tell you the types of balloons I use, the name of the balloons, which is 260 balloons, but I explain what a 260 is, the hand pump that I recommend. You can use any hand pump as long as you can pump those balloon animals with those pumps. I also teach you how to use the hand pump, how to tie the balloon, how to burp or soften the balloon, and also having what we call a tail. Now let's twist. All right, so we got our pump, we got our balloon. This is the 260 balloon, like I said in the previous video. The reason why it's called 260 is because of the size of the balloon. So the first letter of the 2 is the width of the balloon. So when you pump it, it's 2 inches in width. The last 2 numbers from the 260, the 60 is the length of the balloon. So it goes 60 inch in length when you inflate it. We're gonna start off with this. So I'm gonna pump it. I do burp it. So you just do a little squeeze, and then I do a tie. Remember how I do my tie from the first video? So I do that. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do a few things. The 5 main twists are apple twist, loop twist, a bubble, ear twist, and a 3 body roll, or it's called a 3 prong roll. So I'm gonna show it to you real quick on each one, and then we're gonna go review each one. So this is the apple twist. Or tulip. It's actually called an apple or tulip twist. So that's what it is. The reason why it's a tulip twist because it looks like a tulip. So this is going to be a pinch twist. We're going to do a bubble, a loop twist, okay, and then a 3 body roll or a 3 prong. All right, and you just shove that in, and we're done. So this is the twist we're going to be doing, all 5 of those. I just showed you 5 of them in one shot. So that's it. Goodbye. Good luck. Have fun. And that's that. And no, okay, we'll go one by one. So now what we're going to do is a bubble. So I'm going to blow up this balloon. I did about 2 pumps. Now I'm going to tie it. I actually burped it, and then I'm going to tie it. Okay. So here's how we're going to start with the bubble. Basically, like I said in the previous video, you're going to use your holding hand and your twisting hand. So your holding hand, for me, my holding hand is my left hand, and I twist with my right hand. So if you're a right-handed person, majority of you would twist with your right hand, and you would hold it with your left hand. So to make a bubble, you're going to use your holding hand, which is my left hand, is where I'm going to hold wherever I'm going to be twisting. So if I make a bubble, so a bubble is we call it like 2-inch bubble, 3-inch bubble, 4-inch bubble, or we measure it by our hands. Most of the tutorials will do that. So if we say a 1-inch bubble, we're going to twist a 1-inch bubble. So to twist a 1-inch bubble, your holding hand is going to go about to 1 inches of where the balloon is from this end, and you're going to squeeze that area, and you're going to use your twisting hand to twist. I twist inward. You could twist outward, but I recommend inward because it just feels comfortable. It's like a comfortable feel. So I squeeze where I want to twist, a little squeeze to soften that area, and then I twist. And that's just a quick tip. So when you twist, it's going to make it small, and it's going to lock. It's going to make a bubble. So that's what we call a 1-inch bubble. You can do, and the thing about a 1-inch bubble is you twist it 3 to 4 times. That's a golden rule when you first start, 3 to 4 times. If you let go of the bubble, it will get removed. So the only way to keep the bubble intact is you got to lock the bubble. And to lock the bubble, you have to do multiple bubbles or other techniques to lock it in. So to lock it in with multiple bubbles, I'm going to show you. So I'm going to do a 1-inch bubble here. So I squeeze that 1-inch bubble. I'm going to do a 3-inch bubble here. So I'm going to use my pinky now to squeeze. But if you can't use your pinky, especially when you're first starting, I actually use my ring and pinky finger and slide my hand where that place where you twisted, and it holds it in place. Now I have all these fingers to grab and use my hands to guide. So now I'll do a 3-inch bubble. So I'm going to pinch the 3-inch right there, and then I'm going to twist. And because I'm holding, I can still do more. I can go more up here, down here, but up here is a little bit easier because you have more space versus down here, you're wrapping around this 2-inch around you. So you're gonna have a hard time doing the 2-inch right there. So going up here, so making that V shape. And then you go about 3 inches, you get that squeeze and you just twist it right here, about 3 inches. And you're gonna lock it in place. So you're gonna grab this side, this bubble, and this bubble, and you're gonna lock it in place. So we're gonna squeeze it together. And we're gonna twist. You could either twist these two or you're gonna twist these two. And I'm gonna twist these two because it's just easier for me to twist. So I'm gonna squeeze them and then twist it. And just keep twisting. Just keep twisting. And you got yourself a quick dog. Or a version of a dog, a rabbit if you make bigger ears, you know, stuff like that. That's your basic version. And the coolest thing about these, you can animate these. What I do is I go in my pocket, give it food, and feed it. Munch, 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 munch. When it's hungry. Munch, 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 munch. Okay? So that's one thing. And for bubbles, you just keep on doing bubbles. So you can do multiple bubbles. You do another 1-inch bubble, another 2-inch bubble, another 2-inch bubble, and then I lock it in. And then you can adjust it. Now you have a front foot and the back and the head. And these are all bubbles, by the way. It's just different size bubbles that we did. And we locked it in on the second and third bubble. We never locked it in on the first and second, or you have to always lock it in somehow. So then I'm gonna do a hands width length. So that's a 4 inches or hands width length. And I'm gonna do the back about 3 inches. Another 3 inches. And when you're first starting, don't worry about the size of the bubble because you're just trying to get used to twisting, and don't worry about it. You're gonna get better over time through muscle memory. So just bear in mind on that. So, and there's the first dog. And those were all due to bubbles. I just did a 1-inch bubble, 3-inch, 3-inch, locked it in with the second and third one. Then I made a 1-inch bubble, did 3-inch, 3-inch, locked it in with the 3 inches. And then I did a 3-inch, 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 and I locked the 2 3 inches in. And then I have what we call a dog tail. The hard bubble is doing it in the beginning. And I rarely, disclaimer, FYI, I rarely do 2 bubbles in the beginning where you lock it in, because you have to lock it in not be in between 2 bubbles. You gotta lock it in between the end and a bubble. So what I'm saying is that here, I'm gonna make a bubble, and now I have to come down and lock in another bubble. But because there's no extra bubble, I can't just lock it in so easily. You know, if there's an extra bubble here, it'll be easy to lock it in. But because you don't have that, you would have to lock it in on the end with the nozzle. So the nozzle's in my hand right there. You see that nozzle? So I'm holding that really tight where the knot is. I actually hold the knot. You see the knot? I'm actually holding where the knot is. And I'm holding that nice and tight. And I'm going to twist it. So this is the hardest of doing the bubbles, by doing it in the beginning. So I twist it. And I still have that knot in my hand. And even if you let go, it's going to unravel. Most likely it will unravel. So to lock this in the beginning, you would have to go in between the 2 bubbles. So this is the middle. So I grab the knot. I'm going to feed it in between from this side. Just shove it right through my thumb and then grab it with these 2 hands on the other side and lock it in. Now so what it did was it went through and locked itself in place. So now I do have 2 bubbles in the beginning. Rarely you do that. Most likely you're doing a bubble first, and then you're going to do another bubble and another bubble, and you're going to lock that in. Or you're going to do a bubble, multiple bubbles, like let's say 3 of them, and you're going to lock those 3 in. So here's 2 locked in. Here's a spacer with 2 bubbles. Here's a spacer with 3 bubbles. One more tip on the bubble and to practice with, what I will do is grab another balloon. Now this one's a pink. This is actually a pink fluorescent. So like I said, I'm going to tie it up. Okay. A good practice is have a lot of tail. So when you pump, you only pump less balloon, so you can have all this tail, and you're going to twist. And just FYI, if you haven't seen the previous video, all of us as balloon twisters, we only twist one side where the nozzle end is. So when we're twisting this way all the time. The reason why is air is getting pushed somewhere. And when we're twisting, air has to get pushed. If it doesn't push, if we go this end, air's still going to try and push this way, and there's no space, therefore it's going to pop. That's why we push on this side, and we have this excess of tail. So like I said, when I keep on making bubbles, like this is how big the tail is right now. But when I start making bubbles, this tail is going to shrink smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller because the air is pushing itself through. So you always want to have a tail when you're twisting. Just keynote. Unless you're doing very minimal twists, then you're going to need the whole balloon. Like if you make leaves on a tree or a heart, the big heart, you want it fully inflated and tight. But when you are not doing those things, you always want a tail, especially if you're going to do a multiple twisting. That's a key tip. So I'm going to twist here, and you're going to see me twist all the way here. So this is a practice for doing bubbles. So like I said, do a lot of bubbles. This is what we're going to do. We're going to make a bubble, about a 1-inch bubble right here. Okay? I'm going to hold it with this hand. This hand's going to hold, but it's also going to help make bubbles. So the way I hold the balloon, I actually put it in between my pinky and ring finger, help guide while this finger just does a twisting. That being said, it's going to guide this one. So I squeeze here, make a bubble here, another bubble, make another bubble, make another bubble. See, because I'm holding the end right here, I still have these hands to help me make bubbles. And the thing is, you just keep making bubbles. And remember when I said the tail is going to be, it was about this much length? Now when I go at it, it's a little bit smaller now. It's only, my thumb is covered now. So eventually it's going to go even smaller. So I'm going to keep on making bubbles, bubbles, bubbles. And remember, do it 3-4 times. 3-4 times. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And as you can see how small the tail is now. So this is a good practice, especially to make bubbles, just to get comfortable. And the reason why this is practice is when you pull it, after doing 3-4, none of these will unravel itself. As long as you're holding it here and here, it won't unravel itself if you did it 3 or 4 times. So this is a good practice, especially when you're beginners. And the thing is, don't unravel it, especially when you're beginning. Don't unravel it and do it again on the same balloon because it's actually harder to do. Just a key tip. A lot of people want to practice on the same balloon, and the problem is that the balloon has like a memory, and it's very weak. Don't recycle the balloon, especially when you're practicing, because it's actually, like I said, the balloon gets harder. That's just a quick tip. So I'm going to keep on doing these bubbles, but to lock it in, to end this, you can lock them together. Yeah. So like I said, lock it together. So I got from the 2 ends, I locked it together. So now I can let go of it, and now it's all chained together as one. And now it's unraveling because it's the weak balloon. Okay. So now we're going to do the loop twist. Have a balloon, pump. I usually just pump it like about 2 pumps, 2 good pumps. If it's a dual action, 2. But if it's a single action like this, I do 4, the single action ones. And then I tie it. And so I'm going to do a loop twist. There's 2 loop twists to do. There's a 2 loop twists in the beginning and loop twists in the middle. The loop twists in the middles are easy to do because you have 2 ends to connect it to. The loop twist in the beginning, there's only one end. There's this end and then the other end that's connected to the balloon. So to do the loop twists in the beginning, I'm going to use my 2 fingers here, my hand, the holding hand, to hold the end, which is the nozzle, where the knot is, and I'm going to put my thumb and my pointer on the knot, like that right there. So I'm holding it for dear life for now, pinching it and holding it. And then I'm going to bend it, and when you bend it, that's what we call a loop. So we're going to make what we call a loop, and then we're going to twist, hence the word loop twist. So we're going to twist it, but I'm still holding it, so don't let go of that part. So we're going to keep twisting, because when you twist it, it's going to force itself to twist. It's going to lock itself in place, And you can't let go of this yet, because if you let go, it will unravel itself because you only twisted it. So to lock it in, you have to twist it and lock it in. And to lock it in, where the knot is, we're going to feed it through the loop right in there. So we're going to feed it through the loop and then feed it through the other end, and the knot is on the other end, and you can let go. So we fed it right through the hole, and that will lock it in place. Therefore, the loop twist will stay intact. Now we're going to do a loop twist in the middle, not in the beginning. So doing the loop twist in the middle is a lot easier. So all you got to do is loop, and because we have a connection point, all we got to do is twist. Remember, I'm using twisting hand here. This is the holding hand. So we're going to do it again. Loop, twist. And then at times, since I have multiple loops, I could grab 2 loops and twist them together. And when you do that, it actually locks in the middle, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to get a epicenter middle right here. Twisting with 2 of the balloons together will actually lock it in one, give it one eye. That's basically what it is. So we're going to twist it again. We're going to grab another loop twist. We're going to bend it. And then we're just going to loop it. And when we're looping it, we're just putting it right in. So you can see that right there. And you loop it again. You can twist it in. And like I said, you can lock it in place between one of these 2 just to make sure it's locked in. So that's 4 for me. And then I'm going to do it again. And also while I'm doing it, sometimes I'm squeezing the balloon to softening it. Because when you soften it, it's easier to twist. That's another key tip. And then all I do is going to do another loop twist. So I'm going to twist it, squeeze it, lock itself in place. And also you could use this end to actually roll around it if you want. It's up to you. There's no right or wrong, but like I said, especially when you're beginning, you just want to twist two of the petals together once in a while. Not all the time, you don't have to. And then since I have 5, I'm going to do one more. I'm going to squeeze the balloon, do another loop, make a bubble. That's another thing too. You could also make a bubble. Before you do the loop, you think you're going to go right through here, you make a bubble. This is where you want to put it through the middle. So I will make a bubble, and then I'm going to feed it through this balloon, feed it in the middle, the center. And now it's in there. And all I'm going to do is lock it in place by twisting 2 balloons together. And then you have a 6-petal flower. When you're beginning, don't worry about symmetry first. Just worry about getting comfortable twisting the balloons. That's loop twist. Okay, so now we're going to do the ear twist. This one is a little bit tougher. If you did the bubble, which I know you did, you can do the ear twist. So we're going to pump our balloon. That's all you need. Okay, tie it up. Okay. So to do the ear twist in the beginning is one of the hardest things to do. So I usually try and avoid doing an ear twist in the beginning, but you still gotta learn how to do it. And I'll show you later, but let me show you what an ear twist is. So I'm gonna do a bubble first, and I'm gonna do another bubble, and then the second bubble, I'm gonna make it as an ear twist. So I'm gonna show you right now. So I'm using my holding hand. This is gonna be my twisting hand. So my holding hand does a bubble. The second bubble. Now I'm gonna do an ear twist. So I'm gonna bend the bubble and the rest of the balloon. I'm going to bend it close together, and I'm going to make an ear twist right here. And then I have an ear twist right there. As you can see, it's an ear twist because it's an ear of an animal. It can be an ear of an animal. So if you're making a bear, let me unravel this, show you what a bear looks like. So if you're doing, let's look at the bears this way. So this is the bear. Right here, I'm going to do an ear twist. So basically I did 3 bubbles, and then the 4th one I did another bubble and I did an ear twist. Do another ear twist right there. Do another bubble here. Lock these suckers in. And then feed this through. So this bear will be taught later, later down the road. This is the basics that you're learning. You're learning the twist first before you know that. So this is the bear. So as you can tell that I did bubble, 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 ear twist or pinch twist, bubble, ear twist, pinch twist, came back down, locked it in. So we'll learn this later. So take a bow, okay? Take a bow. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so we're gonna learn the ear twist real quick, like I just said. So we're gonna grab another balloon. So like I said, I hate doing the ear twist in the beginning. I cheat around the system, and you might want to do that too. So if I have to do a pinch twist at the end, I actually do 2 pinch twists at the end. And what I do is I make a bubble here and make a bubble here, and then I pinch twist the second one, which I showed you earlier, right? And then I grab this nozzle and I just wrap it around the pinch twist. And what that does, it actually makes 2 quick pinch twists as one. So this is my out on most designs when I have to do a pinch twist in the beginning. So I cheat around the system. Let me unravel that. Give me a second. So, or you could do this to hide the bubble. You make a really small bubble, like I told you. Really small bubble. In the second bubble, you make a bubble. You pinch twist the second bubble. And then this small one, you just wrap around. And it's a small pinch twist. It's very visible, not visible to see. There's also lips. So you can get a kiss. Okay. So, that being said, that's what I do for the pinch twist in the beginning. But I try to avoid it in any way, shape, or form, because it is actually harder to do. But if you have to, no choice to do it, it's similar to the loop twist I just showed you earlier. So basically you're going to hold the end nice and tight. You're going to make a bubble here. Like I said, you're going to hold it nice and tight and you're going to twist it while holding it still nice and tight, lock it in, and then you're going to have to feed it. See, the loop twist, you had enough space to feed it through. Now I'm going to have to feed it through this small area. This area. So I'm going to grab the nozzle. I'm going to feed it through the other end, from this end to the other end. So now you have a, see right there? I have to feed it through right there and lock it in place. There we go. So basically I went here, fed it this way, under, over, through the other end to make this pinch twist. And as a event twister or performer, this takes me about a second longer than me doing a quick 2 pinch twist. So for speed and comfortability, I prefer making the other one. Just a quick tip, but you're more than welcome to do it this way, but I don't prefer it that way. So, but to do a pinch twist in the middle, it's a lot easier. But you're making a bubble. The second, okay, so this one I'm going to space this one. So you're going to do a bubble spacer, another bubble. This is the bubble we're going to do the pinch twist on. So we do a bubble. And to do the pinch twist, you're going to bring it close together. The two, you're going to bring it close together and you're going to pinch twist this. Quick tip on doing this ear twist. I lift up a little bit. So when I lift this up, these 2 areas right here, they're a little bit closer. So when you twist it, it's easier to connect. I mean, it's easier to lock in place. When you have it far away like this, and most beginners don't know that, they're fighting through it or they're feeling weird, uncomfortable. And so one quick tip, lift it up a little bit, just slightly, just a slight little bit, and twist it. And it feels a little bit more not fearful, because you always, especially when you're beginning, you feel a little fearful because it's twisting, squeaking, and whatnot. But if you lift it up just a slight, just a smidge, you don't have to yank it, just push up a little bit. See right here? I'm not going to do it right now. I mean, I'm not going to lift it up. I'm just going to twist. So when I twist, I'm comfortable doing it. So you just got to do it one crack. But I feel that when I lift it up, it makes a less squeaker sound. And it's also, like I said, when you lift it up, it's just an easier connection point. It just feels comfortable, feels smoother. So that's just a quick tip. And to practice, as you can see, I'm making bubble, ear twist, bubble, ear twist, bubble, ear twist. So it's basically a spacer ear twist. Ear twist, spacer, ear twist, spacer, ear twist. And you can get that. So you just practice. This is a good practice tip to do to make ear twists and whatnot. I don't recommend the beginning ear twist. You could practice it just because if you want to, but majority of my designs, if I teach you a design, I'm not making you do an air twist in the beginning. If I do an air twist in the beginning, you're making 2 bubbles. The second one's going to be the air twist. The first one, I'm going to wrap it around. So now the next one is a 3-prong or a 3-body roll. So we're going to make a bubble. I usually make a bubble here. I'm going to make a 3-inch bubble here. Another 3-inch bubble. We're going to lock them in together, similar to the 2 bubbles I taught you for the bubble tutorial part. And then we're going to go down and we're going to size it, and we're going to make it almost the same size as this, but we're not. Actually, I use my ring finger to kind of guide that area. And then I just make a bubble a little bit smaller, about right there. So if you can see this bubble, these are a little bit bigger. This one's a little, oh sorry. This one's a little bit smaller, just a little bit, a tinge. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna use both of our hands. We're gonna use these two to push this out. And while we're opening this up, we're pushing this with our thumb through. So I'm pushing this out and I'm pushing this forward. So I'm doing that. And it's locked through, but to lock it in, all you gotta do is grab the 2 ends and stretch them. And it'll lock itself in place. So now it's locked in place. And now I'll go out. And that's a 3-prong. And then you could do another one, a bubble, 3-body. Do it again. Feed it through, and you're all set. There we go. So that's the 3-body roll, 3-prong. It's good for, actually, let me do this real quick. Hello, this is one thing I learned a long time ago. So if you make a bubble here, and then you do a 3-prong, and you can let this one go, doesn't matter, because it doesn't. So you have 3 prongs, but you have this one soft, so you can twist it again. And you put them together, you have 2 doves kissing. It's actually original, one of the original OG books that I learned. And you can put a heart over it. Well, with magic, with this, you got this. And then you just put it down, lock them together to the heart. And you got 2 birds in love. Especially when you practice, this is good to learn. And this is one of the first designs you actually learn. I think I learned this too on the first day as well. So that being said, it took a while to do the heart when I first did it, so I just practiced. But yeah. And last but not least, the apple twist or the tulip twist. To be honest, I rarely use this twist, but it's good to learn. So basically, you're gonna get a balloon. You're only gonna blow it up very little bit. Just that much. That's good enough. Just that much. So this is why it's called a tulip twist. So you tie it up, get your finger, you're gonna feed it inside. You're gonna go with where the nozzle is. You're gonna put your finger in with the nozzle all the way through, and you're gonna use your other hand, grab it where the nozzle is. You're gonna grab it from the other side, and you're gonna take your finger out. If it's wet, it's easier to get your finger out. My hand's not wet, so it's pretty tight. So your first time is going to be hard. It's going to be a weird feeling. And because I'm holding that nozzle for dear life, I'm still holding it. You got to twist it now. So you twist it. And the thing about this is that it will unravel, but due to friction, it holds itself in place. But if you play with it and tweak it, it'll come off. And another tip, you see the nozzle right there? The nozzle's right there. What I do is to keep it a little longer, I just push it in. So when I push it in, it's a little bit harder to take out. And so you have your tulip. That's why it's called a tulip twist. And you make hundreds of these, and you just put them dangling down in one of your vases. It looks cute. So that's a tulip twist. It's also called an apple twist. And in a balloon, this balloon. It's actually what's called a 321. I have red ones, but I have limited ones, so I'm not using the red one. But this is similar to the red one. So we're gonna blow it up real quick. There's a reason why it's called an apple twist. So you blow it up around there. So we're gonna go in this one, all the way in, and we're gonna push it all the way out from here. Get your finger out. There we go. Twist it. And with a 321, it looks like a cute little apple. All right, so now that we completed the 5 twists, the next video will dive deep into the 3 designs we're going to work on, is the dog, the flower, and the sword. So click the next video and I'll see you there.